with the Malcolm thing, we left off at him, the whole him, being Satan, and then him actually getting the game from the guy in prison. Um, and then he started, like you said, it wasn't just reading the dictionary, but it was also him just learning on how to actually like speak. You know what I'm saying, and use his words. I forgot which actually word that you used. What was the word that you used? What you said? He was a
Well, no, no, actually, you said the word linguist. He
There
was
you
a
go.
linguist.
There you go. Yep.
But, and then I added and said that he was a grammarian. So I think
Grammarian.
he was both.
Mm.
Right, so he's a linguist and a grammarian, as well as a person who perfected classical logic.
Mm.
So I guess you can say he was a logician as
Mm.
well.
Mm.
Which actuality equals he was a philosopher. Right?
Mm.
Because philosophy teaches, back in the day, philosophy taught classical logic, um, arithmetic, um, and I think theology.
Mm.
And there's some other sciences too. I know theology, arithmetic, and classical logic was part of the curriculum for philosophy back in the day.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, and God knows best. That being said, we know, well, let's first deal with I mentioned the word tarbiyah, spiritual training, right?
Mm.
Spiritual reformation, right? Spiritual rectification, to where he, because even though he was taught a false version, a fallacious version of Islam, we can't even call it a version of Islam. It wasn't Islam at all.
Absolutely.
He was taught in Arabic something called Shirk Akbar, which is the greatest sin ever, which is to associate man with God.
Absolutely.
Because the nation of Islam, even though they had the Quran, the leadership, talking about Father Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad, they chose to take the credit themselves or take the beliefs themselves. So Father Muhammad became man incarnated. I mean, God incarnated. I mean, what their belief is, he was God incarnated in man form. And I was to be like him in God, but said, Allah protect us from that. And then Elijah Muhammad said that he was the Prophet Muhammad, the last messenger. So I'm saying, well, he's the Prophet Muhammad. I'm not saying peace and blessings on him because he's not the prophet. We know the real prophet to be Muhammad ibn Abdullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who was born in 571 or 570, pardon me, and died in
32, right?
What is it, 633 or 32? Yeah, 32 or 33. I think 632. You know what I'm saying? So this is the real Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, that was in Mecca, the descendant from Ismail, the descendant from Ibrahim, Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salatu wasallam. So this is the real prophet, the last prophet, the imam of all the prophets, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, but before we go into that, those false beliefs, discounting and smashing out those false beliefs that they push forward, they did extract from Islam some disciplines that were very helpful to Mo. I'm talking about his dietary discipline. They had a good diet. They ate very little. Matter of fact, they ate 1 meal a day. They didn't eat pork. And I don't even think they ate red meat. But they had a lot of portion control. They didn't eat a lot. They understood that. But that's from Islam. And then, of course, they didn't believe in fornication nor adultery.
Absolutely.
So if you was caught committing fornication or adultery, you was excommunicated from the community. Especially adultery. You know what I'm saying? So that was the thing too. So, I'm saying, just to fast forward, even J. Edgar Hoover admitted that all the surveillance that they had on Malcolm, they never saw him cheat on his wife, not even one time.
Absolutely.
Never.
Absolutely.
May God never cheat on his wife. And they were amazed by that. Because, I'm saying, without saying any names, without kicking somebody when they're down, we can't say that to many of our other world leaders.
That's right.
Many of our other world leaders were very promiscuous.
That's right.
And they were adulterers. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to the prison thing. So now we had, you know, of course he had, because they had a book called How to Eat to Live, if I'm not mistaken. So they know about good nutrition and how to eat to live and, you know, good diet, I'm saying good dieting. And so forth and so on. They know about how to, you know, stay physically in shape, working out. They know about education. They know about, what's the word? Financial literacy. They're financially independent. They wouldn't say, they were good at this. But all these things are derived from Islam. We know the best businessman ever to live in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
That's right.
So they know about business. They know about, so he worked on all these things even in prison. He honed these things, and when he went home, he brought these things to fruition. He brought these things to fruition. So with that being said, well, let me mention one thing that I was going to gloss over. May God forgive me. They mentioned in my studies that some Harvard students, some students from Harvard, some Caucasian students from Harvard would volunteer their time and come tutor Malcolm and other students in the prison. Yes. And I want to give credit, I just want to stop here and give credit to, I'll call them my John Brown type Caucasian folk who played a role in the education of Malcolm, as far as, you know what I'm saying, him, even though he was already intelligent, but they still helped him, you know, mold himself mentally to be prepared to really, sit with world leaders and debate world leaders. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they helped him. They would come to the certain classes, psychology courses, so forth and so on. Yeah. So a lot of times, what happened is that, you know, whether it was white folk who helped Harriet Tubman, whether it was James Fonda and the likes who helped the Black Panthers, whether it was John Brown and the likes and his sons who helped the slaves fight against slavery. And in fact, John Brown and his sons were martyred. They gave their life against slave masters, and they were white, but they fought with the slaves. To say in the war to abolish slavery, you see. And you had many white folk like this.
That's a fact.
That were part of the Underground Railroad for Harriet Tubman. And a lot of times they wasn't doing it for credit. So a lot of times they understood that really the real heroes was your Harriet Tubmans and your Black Panthers, your Eldridge Cleavers and so forth and so on. But they played a pivotal role in helping them achieve their goals.
That's right.
But a lot of them stayed low key, a lot of them stayed clandestine. Not only did they want, they didn't want fame, nor did they want to be known amongst their own kind. They would have got ostracized and maybe killed themselves.
Absolutely.
But John Brown, he didn't care. He died for it. Look at James Fonda, she didn't care. She's out there. We look at, what's his boy named John Lennon, he was killed. In the anti-war stuff that he would do. In the anti-war songs that he would do. But people, I don't think black folk, us black folk, us woke folk, us black woke folk, give many white activists, many white supporters their due. I don't think we give them enough. For the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, Man lam yashkur al-nasa, lam yashkur Allah. Whosoever does not think mankind does not think Allah. So we want to give a thanks to all of them. The ones today who support the movement and support against oppression, the ones who support on any level that they are supporting, as well as the ones of old. Because I don't think we give them sense. A lot of times, what happened is we need to remind the white youth about the history of some of the white support that we had back in the day. We need to remind them of their heroes, those John Brown types, to inspire them to do the same.
Absolutely.
You see.
Absolutely.
We need to emphasize and highlight the things that John Brown did and his sons did. Highlight the things that James Fonda did and the likes, and thousands and millions of others. We need to highlight this to the white community to inspire the youth to do the same. If we keep quiet about it, then history, I'm saying, because if white youth don't know their own history, all white people weren't racist. All white people weren't quiet, weren't silent on the issue. There were a small amount that fought with us. And we need to remind the youth today that they can be on the right side of history. Right? They can be on the right side of history. Not only in the history books, but more importantly, to stand in front of God on the day of judgment. See? But we need to unite. It's not about black and white. It's about those that have good hearts, uniting with each other. Those that have good souls, uniting with each other. I'm saying, uniting with each other to fight against all oppression. You see?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Absolutely.
I'm saying, so, I just wanted to highlight that. And then highlight the fact, of the reformation that Malcolm brought upon himself through hard work. Arduous work. It's not easy to change yourself, to reform yourself. Your way of thinking, your way of eating, your vernacular, no more cursing, no more getting high, no more nothing, and become a mature, serious man who's going to really die for his people.
Absolutely.
30 seconds remaining.
It's hard to change your habits, you know what I'm saying, in your past ways.
Yeah.
But if you strive towards it, it's possible. And he's definitely somebody who made a legit 360 turn on his entire life and became a whole new man, and for the better, of course. And especially, I like the fact that you highlighted, I call our white brethren is what I like to call our white brothers and sisters. Because at the end of the day, we all are humans, and the only thing that really separates is our culture and color,
To block future calls, dial 1-866-230-7761. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Just finish your thought.
Yeah, so what I was saying is with our white brethren, the only thing that separates us just from anybody, white, black, yellow, it doesn't matter what color you are. The only thing that separates you is your color and your culture, right? The color and your culture. Other than that, we are human beings. We all breathe. We all sleep. We all eat. You got two eyes like I got two eyes. You got a mouth like I got a mouth, eat, and etc. So, at the moment when you really look at it, for the righteous people that's trying to do good and then they know what's good and what's not good, they're going to do good no matter what color it is. And even that showed back during a time where white people were more inclined or brainwashed or influenced or heavily impressioned to do wrong. You still have people who were just good people in their hearts where they couldn't do those type of evils. It doesn't matter what conditions they was under, what era they were in, whether that was in the 1800s during slavery or not, before or after, right? So, good is good and bad is bad. And that really gets to show you for people like John Brown and those of the like. So that was really good that you highlighted that. Also, real quick too, just as far as Malcolm being like a global leader, in terms of him being able to have debates with the top of the top, what I'm saying? But also, like you said, he was able to write letters to kings and queens all across the world and speak to many different politicians. Just thinking about him moseying around, if you will, and around with those people and, having those type of communications versus the communications that he was having before with street people, drug dealers, pimps, prostitutes, therefore, and so on. Look at the when he changed himself, right, and he made the change for himself. Look at the community or the people that he was surrounded with, or he surrounded himself with. Completely different echelon of people, right? So not only did he change himself, but his environment and his around him started to change because he changed himself, right? So that's a big thing as well. So I think that's good to highlight. But what I'm saying. Go ahead.
It's a good point you're making. Pound for pound, I'm saying, we're going to harp on that in the future talks because we still, basically, we veered off, but we still, as far as talking about his prison life. But we're going to get to that. But I just want to, just piggyback on what you're saying, that it's nothing short of a miracle.
Really?
That a man who was basically in a pig pen talking to people from the street. Because really, he came from a high education. We talk about his mother and his father.
That's right.
But due to him choosing the streets because he was orphaned, you know what I'm saying? Then he chose the streets. Then you know what I'm saying? I said he made himself to be the lowest of the low. You know what I'm saying? At that time. But you see, once he reformed himself, then it's nothing short of a miracle to see how Allah elevated him to be respected and be really respected as a head of state. He was getting the hospitality and the reception of a head of a state from the Saudi king. He's a trillion. These are not being. King Fahd, and I think it was King Fahd at the time. But these kings of Saudi Arabia, kings of Ghana, right? Presidents of Libya, presidents of Egypt. These were billionaires and trillionaires, my brother.
Very powerful people.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Very powerful, highly educated, strong lineages, and some saying highly connected. These are world global leaders. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, to see them basically pay homage to Malcolm. This is what Allah do. Malcolm they had to, because really the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that the real is not in abundance of material and abundance of money. He says the real wealth is to have a wealthy heart. See? When you have a wealthy heart, and when you love Allah makes He makes people in the world love you. When you respect Allah, He make the people respect you. And this was the gift and elevation that Allah had gave Malcolm. You see, Allah elevated him from a prison cell, from a prison dungeon, to policies, presidential policies, and policies of kings and queens, my brother. And they was giving him, paying homage to him. But we'll get back to that.
Absolutely.
But we can move on from the prison situation. Even from prison, he even wrote the president from prison. That's what type of level of thinking that he was on. Even from prison, he wrote the president. He said some things. Yeah, I'm saying, he was checking the president then. And the problem said that he says the real mujahid, the real warrior, or the real jihad is to tell a tyrant to his face he's a tyrant. That's the real warrior. Because you understand the repercussions from that. There are great repercussions that come from that, that result from that. Your whole life can be ruined.
That's right.
Your whole life can be destroyed.
That's
your whole life can be taken. But he cared less. Even from a prison cell. Even then, he had wrote the president back then. If I'm not mistaken, I think the president was President Johnson. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But even back then, you know what I'm saying? So, but let's move forward to when but what happened was his sister ellacollins, rahimahullah, Allah mercy on her soul, she, at that time, she was the business owner back then. She had a whole supermarket back then.
Oh, wow.
When he was locked up. And she was different, I think. His sister had her own supermarket back then, and she also had political ties back then. And she paid some extra money, and bust some moves and became a mover and a shaker. She bust some moves, and she got him home early. He made her home like he got shipped to like a better prison, and he came home I think 3 years earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Than his sentence. Because I think in a 10-year sentence, I think someone came home like in 7 years. I stand to be corrected, but to my knowledge, I know she bust some moves, at least to get to a better prison. I think she even got him home early too. If my memory
serves you correctly. Yeah, I'll do some research on it. Yeah, they just
double check it to see, but I think what I'm saying is to be true. Now, comes home, we know, he's indoctrinated by the Nation of Islam, and at that time he'd have died for them. Because the way he seemed is that the Nation of Islam was the vehicle, even though it's not true Islam. That's what I'm going to talk about. Real quick. We know, I'm saying, because we don't have to harp on this, because most non-Muslims know that the Nation of Islam wasn't true Islam.
That's right.
Right? We don't believe man is God, but we don't believe that Elijah Poole was the last messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We don't believe that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Nor do we believe that all white people are the devil.
Nor we believe that all white people are the devil. We don't believe that. I don't think we can harp on it too long, because even in the movie, that's clear. Most people know that.
Right.
But I will say this sort of. Allah says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Say, قل هو الله أحد. Say, He is Allah, the one and only one, the unique one. Allah الصمد, Allah, the eternal one, the one that is free of need, the one that doesn't need anything for his existence. He is not in need of food and water or anything else for his existence, but all needs him. He is the eternal one, that all is in need of him. He is not begotten. He does not have any parents, nor does he beget. He does not have any children. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ, and there's nothing comparable unto him. There's nothing like his likeness. There's nothing like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever we imagine God to be in our minds, know that it is a creation of God. God transcends all. Right? God is beyond our scope. He's beyond our imagination. He's beyond our comprehension.
We can't fathom the existence of God. It's not for man to fathom. It's just for you to worship.
That's it. So I wanted to make that clear. And then now, we can move on from that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we make that clear. So then when he came home, we know his dedication to the nation. We know his high position that he wound up getting from Elijah Muhammad. They made him, what's the word they gave him? It was a minister of, I forgot the term they gave him. It was a high position. They paid him $1,000 a month. But his job was to open up temples all across the country. So when he came home, really at that time, the nation's membership was small. They had a few thousand, but it wasn't as big as he made it.
That's right.
When he came home, he made it blossom due to his charisma, and due to his dedication, and due to his sincerity, and also due to his history from that industry. See, because people knew him to be a pimp, knew him to be a drug dealer. So now they say, if he can change, I can change. So he knew the people's language, he knew their lifestyle, so he's able to, convince many people to change their lives for the better.
Absolutely.
To clean up.
And just real quick, the title that they gave him, I just Googled it real quick. The title that they gave him was Minister and National Spokesperson. So he was their minister. You know what I'm saying? He was their minister and their national spokesperson, which is why, like you said, he was in charge with establishing new mosques across the entire country. He traveled a lot, and that's what he used to do: open up this temple here, this temple there, this temple here. One of the first temples he opened up in Atlantic City, that's the Masjid Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the first temples that he opened up.
We want to make a distinction between mosques. I don't like to call them mosques.
Yeah, I shouldn't say mosques. Yeah.
Just call them
temples. Absolutely.
Call them temples.
Absolutely.
But okay, Uncle Omar said something profound to me, because they would number the temples according to the chronological order that they was established. They would number the temples. So Atlantic City, how small it is, it was in the struggle early. It's temple 17. And that amazes me, really. I'm saying pound for pound, that's an amazing thing in history, because Atlantic City is very small, but yet it's temple 17. He don't know. It's temple 25. So in Atlantic City, temple was up before no. You know what I'm saying? So what time you got?
It's 7:08. 7:08.
Okay. No, we good. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make that clear.
Absolutely.
And so after he built the community up, thousands upon thousands, temple after temple had were erected, through his work, via him, through him, through his inspiration, through his charisma, But we know where people be jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was really, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, sincerity is such a great thing, my son.
Mm.
Yeah, he sincerely wasn't cheating on his wife. He sincerely wasn't chasing the world. But people in his like position, they was living a lavish life, a luxurious life, even though they told the followers not to do that.
Mm. Mm.
They were hypocrites.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In the cream of the crop of the nation, many of them lived a very luxurious life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They would have high-end suits and live in baby mansions and buy and drive the best cars. All the blood, sweat, and tears of their followers. Well, Malcolm didn't do that, my brother.
Mm. Mm.
He lived a very nigger life. In Arabic, you would call him a zahid, one who denounced the world.
Mm. Mm.
He wasn't of this world. He was sincere in his work, brother.
Mm.
He really loved his people. He really loved his people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. And because of his sincerity, Allah guided him to the true Islam.
Absolutely.
Allah guided him to the true Islam.
Absolutely. Because that's what he was really trying to do. Like the nation of Islam, right? The nation, although, you know, and it's really a miracle and a wonder of itself, just a mercy and blessing from Allah that, you know, the nation can teach you all of these things that's really going to stray you away from Islam. But him being so sincerity to get himself right and reform himself, Allah gave him that blessing for him to find the true word, and he was able to convert to traditional Islam and become a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, that's really due to Allah's mercy and blessing. You know what I'm saying? Strictly.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
And then, you know, we got to talk about his sister, ellacollins,
Yeah.
who was upon the sunnah, the traditional Islam even before him.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to talk about how she was very inspirational in his life.
Absolutely.
So we talk about her and him next time I call Allah. I love you so much, my son. And I'll try to call you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Love you, Pop.
Okay, love you too.
Go. Yeah, so we left off, where did we leave off at exactly? I can't remember.
We left off talking about John Brown types that supported the movement.
Absolutely. Oh, there we go.
Our good white folk who supported the movement with their blood, sweat, and tears, and money also. Some, most of them were clandestine, but some were public. Some lost their lives. Like your John Lennons and your John Browns and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But now we can move on from that because now we moved on from that to when Malcolm was released.
Yeah.
We talked about his sister ellacollins. She bust a few moves to get him early release.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went home, we know he went home not only to her, but he went home to the nation of Islam.
Right.
And he was sincere, but he was sincere. But I do want to mention one thing that's amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
That even though the nation of Islam were on clear misguidance.
Very clear.
Because basically Elijah Poole claimed to be a false prophet. That's what he did.
Absolutely.
He claimed to be the messenger of Allah, and this is a fallacy. This is a false statement. This is an Arabic batil. This is falsehood. We know that to be true. And then even more horridly, or even more wrong, the greater wrong was to say that Muhammad was God incarnated.
Right.
Astaghfirullah.
Major stuff. Is there a bigger astaghfirullah to say that? This is major. Like this is shirk. This is the only sin. The only sin as a Muslim that will not be forgiven is shirk. This is the only one.
Without a doubt. Astaghfirullah means I seek forgiveness. So we didn't do nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't commit shirk. They did. So it's really for them. You would say to them if they were living, you would say istighfar. As I'm saying, as the command verb, seek the forgiveness of Allah for what you did. That's what them say. That's what we would tell them. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, many books are on that. We know that we said the surah Ikhlas, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And the other one is لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Right? There is nothing like like unto Allah. There's nothing like the likeness of Allah. And He is the All-Hearing, the All-Seeing. The other one in his classes, there's nothing comparable unto Allah. There's no anthropomorphism. There's no anthropomorphism. There's no big man upstairs. Allah has no human attributes. There's the Creator in the creation. The Creator transcends any resemblance of the creation. Right? You know what I'm saying? So we know that to be clear. You know what I'm saying? So now, but that being said, they still have more unity and love and brotherhood than we do today. And we got Tawheed today. We got the oneness of Allah and the correct belief system concerning Allah. We got all the hadiths. We got all the fiqh and thousands and millions of books and all the information. Yet, there's so much division. Yet, it's so much discord. Yet, it's so much hypocrisy. Yet, there's a lack of brotherhood. There's so much backbiting and calumnies and, you know, I mean, a bunch of envy and jealousy.
But
you know what I'm saying? There's no unity.
But you know what I realized?
How were they so ignorant about true Islam, yet they had more unity and brotherhood, and we have so much more knowledge than them, and we're supposed to be upon the truth, yet we have no akhwa, no brotherhood. But
okay, I see. Okay, maybe. All right, here's the thing. It's tough, right? It's tough to say.
I can't hear you now. I can't hear you now. Hold on.
All right.
Can you hear? Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. What I was saying is, it's tough to say that they have more brotherhood than what we have now. For me, the reason why I can't necessarily say that, because number one, we know that they had great envy for Malcolm at the time. You know, Hajj Malik El Shabazz, but Malcolm at the time. We know that they envy Malcolm, and that's the reason why it was multiple assassinations attempts on his life, right? Due to the envy, right? So that's lack of brotherhood, number one. Lack of brotherhood, number two. We know for sure that there was undercover agents, informants, rats, a part of that nation of Islam. It's a fact. Okay? So that shows lack of brotherhood, number two. No, the informants are a fact. That is a fact that there were informants in there. It's a fact. Okay, I thought you said that. I thought you said it wasn't a fact. My fault. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a fact. And then also, hold on. Number three, the also major lack of brotherhood, because it shows that they were being brainwashed, right? So as we know, some of them, like you said, some of them was living the high life, really dressed in real nice suits, up there in the mansions. You know, the high leadership is living a whole different life than the lower leadership, right? So that's a lack of brotherhood in itself. So they had just as amount, or maybe even more, because you have to realize that they wasn't speaking any truth of Islam at all, and they umbrelling it under Islam. So it might be even worse.
No. What you said, those are three great points you made, but don't mix the truth, the fact that they want on truth with brotherhood, and don't mix the fact, because you can say there are many people amongst the Muslims today who live, they're trillionaires. They have monarchies, kingdoms and kingships and so forth, that really is not from the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and not from the way of the Salaf al-Salih. So that still exists today. The caste system is still amongst the Muslims. The high echelon, people live a luxurious, affluent life above their means is still in Islam. Still today, even though we have the sunnah here. Right. And we still have agent provocateurs in the community. We still have infiltrators in the community. I'm not talking about that. So those are the truth that you made. That being said, at the bottom, the poor amongst the community of the nation of Islam, they had love. I remember. I was in the community. I was there. I remember the unity. But that might be the core of black people in general at that time, Pop. Like, you got to remember, we were just getting out of the Black Panther era. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about the nation of Islam specifically, bro. I know, but I'm just trying to say the nation of Islam. Hold on, Pop. The nation of Islam, right? We know that it was a black organization, right? All African Americans in this organization, right? And we know that African Americans at that time were more unified than they are now, because you got to remember, they were coming out of the revolutionary era.
They're coming out of the era
True.
from Black Panther. They're coming out of the era from Pan-Africanism. They're coming out of the era. So when they come out of the era, you got the Nation of Islam popping off. They just branching off from what that era was before. So black people as a whole were more unified, let alone the Nation of Islam, which is an organization that would make you more unified than just black people. So I mean, I can't necessarily say that, you know, they're more unified than Muslims now. I don't want to say that.
This is my point. Those are great points that you're making. Number one, the nation was before the revolutionary movement. You know that. The nation started off in the 30s.
Right.
So it was before,
But it wasn't popular.
That's number one.
It wasn't popular though.
So let me say this. What you said is true. What you said does not discount what I'm saying. What you said supports what I'm saying. Yeah, I would say thank you for the information. I would say that because what you said is true because of that revolutionary period of time.
Right.
The time I'm saying that people fought against Jim Crow era. And so forth and so on. The black people as a whole were more unified. They were more woke. They were more conscious.
Absolutely.
So that carried over to the Muslims of the Nation of Islam. So that actually supports what I'm saying, rather than discounts it.
Right.
But my whole point is this. Is what you're saying is true. Let's move on from that.
Okay.
The point that he came home, and he reformed that Reformation system. Said that system of Reformation was very effective as far as taking people from the streets, taking them, changing drug dealers to law-abiding citizens, and changing junkies, cleaning junkies up, and changing sex addicts, drug addicts, bank boys. Even though you find that many people were sincere, many people really stopped using drugs, many people cleaned up, and some people were still involved in these things. We know that to be true. You still have bank boys, you still have expropriation. Is a car, right? When you take from the bank, you know, the Robin Hood mentality. Is that the right word for it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I think what it is, it's either misappropriate. I think it's expropriation, but it's a Robin Hood mentality.
Absolutely.
So you have some of the best bank boys in the nation. We know that to be true. But you had trolls of sincere people. They just were ignorant, but they were sincere. Like for example, you had Bumpy Johnson's daughter, come to find out, she was strung out on heroin. So Bumpy Johnson had came to Malcolm for assistance. So the Nation of Islam had the best, basically,
rehabilitation.
The best drug rehabilitative program ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it had brotherhood, good sponsorship. There was, you know what I'm saying, consistent in a person's life, and he really helped people. But anywho, he cleaned her up, cleaned his daughter up with God's permission, and his daughter became the secretary. And he cleaned up. He cleaned up countless people.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And then not only were they pillars of the community as far as fighting against all the different maladies, the different social maladies, the different social diseases of the inner cities, whether it was poverty, lack of education, whether it's fighting against drugs and gun violence, murder. They educated people. They gave people knowledge of self. They gave people self-esteem. They gave people confidence. They did that. They cleaned up people. They did that. That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Cannot be estimated.
This is very true, and it's a major stepping stone. It's a major stepping stone in Malcolm X transition. So I don't want to decrease it or not shine a light on it. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I have no dispute.
We must shine a light on it. We must shine a light on it. We must shine a light on it, even though they were misguided.
Absolutely.
Now, so many people. So he was, he had his sleeves rolled up. He was on the front line. Right? Because he came from that life, so he was comfortable with being around those type of people.
Right.
And he helped reform countless people. Right? So now, let's fast forward that. Let's fast forward for him being one of the best activists ever to live, actually, as far as the black activists in the black inner cities. Let's fast forward that to when he met his beautiful wife. So they say behind every strong man is a what?
Strong woman.
There's a strong woman.
Or even stronger.
We know. Even stronger. either,
Right.
for that matter.
Right.
So we know how educated she was, how beautiful she was, how conscious she was. Was she not? Wasn't she a registered nurse?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
She was. I'm trying to call you back for like 5 more minutes. But was she a registered nurse? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, she was educated and they wooed each other and they became soulmates, brother. And they have 4 daughters, right?
Yeah, four or 5, I want to say. Yeah.
I think it's 4 or 5 daughters to my knowledge. It may be 5. I think it was 4. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Whoever raises 2 daughters in Islam, he said him and that person will be together in paradise. He put his 2 fingers, he put his index finger and his middle finger up together. Together, he said they will be close like that in paradise. Whoever raises 2 daughters on Islam. You know, I'm trying to call you back.
All right, inshallah.
Hold on. Assalamualaikum.
Monitored and recorded. For customer assistance, collection, or complaint procedures, or to block future calls, dial 1-866-KEEP. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Right. So we can hop on the family. We just want to stay here for a couple phone calls about his beautiful family. Right? And about raising daughters on Islam. Right? And about having a beautiful wife, a strong woman behind you. Right? Because we talk about, you know, even though it was a false version of Islam, but we know his wife and his daughters came to true Islam. We know that to be true. Alhamdulillah. So now, let's use this example. Because now, let's talk about how Sister Betty Shabazz and her blessed, and their blessed daughters, because now, you know, society tries to portray that Islam treats people like treats women as second-class citizens.
Right.
I've never seen Sister Betty Shabazz or her daughters be portrayed in that light. They've always been portrayed as queens of the revolutionary movement, as well as queens of Islam. They've always been respected, and people have always paid homage to them, even still today.
Right. Put them on a pedestal.
Right? So exactly, they were intellectuals, they were spiritual, they were very intelligent, highly educated, right? Had the best of character, beautiful, outgoing, confident, right? They were women of dignity and integrity, right? So what are people talking about? This is one of the many. I'm saying they are one of the countless examples of great women in Islam. Of great women in Islam. You know what I'm saying? That's mentioned in the Quran. Whether it's the mother of Jesus or the wives of the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, or whether it's the Queen of Sheba, all of these people mentioned in the Quran, but now we have them, Sister Betty Shabazz and her daughters, they are examples of great women right in the flesh, right from our own time, in our era. In our era. So we have evidence not from of the past, but I'm saying not just from the past, but also of current times. His daughters are still living.
It's a fact.
Right?
That's a fact.
So, like, what are people talking about?
The reason why I feel as though people have that notion or that perception is really we got to take a look at ourselves. Muslim men, they got to take a look at themselves and how they misrepresented the religion by making the women seem as if they are second-class citizens. By what? What do? They misinterpret the ayah, right? They take the ayah and they misinterpret when it says, I believe in Surah Al-Baqarah, I was just reading it the other day, where it says that the men have more of a responsibility over the women, right? And then women like to say, you know, the men, they interpret this as that we're on a higher rank than them. But no, we have more responsibility as far as rights over them. Keyword, responsibility of rights over them, right? Not that it's more of an advantage of rights over them. Not that it's more rights over them. It's more of a responsibility of rights over them. Why? Because we have to take care of the rent, you know what I'm saying? Take care of the needs of the home and provide for them, provide and protect, right? Which is definitely more of a responsibility than somebody who has the responsibility of you know, obeying you, or and obey is a tough word too for women to take, especially nowadays. I have to obey my husband.
Yeah.
No, we only but that's even to a certain degree. You're only supposed to obey your husband if it's coming from Quran and Sunnah. Anything else, you're not supposed to obey, right? So
Exactly.
if it's coming from Quran and Sunnah, it shouldn't be much to obey, because that means that y'all Muslim. That's your Muslim brother, and he's your Muslim. Excuse me, he's your Muslim brother, you his Muslim sister. So y'all both obeying the same thing, really, for real, right?
Right. Listen.
But these
Listen to
things
me.
get
You're making
misinterpreted.
a great point. Okay, listen. Let's stop right here. Yes, there's great points you made. Write it down, and we stop right here, because we're gonna continue right from here. Next time we speak, inshallah. Explanation of what you said, and then we'll move on, inshallah ta'ala. But you made a great point. I totally agree. I love you, and I try to call you soon, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Love you too, Pop. Wa alaikum assalam.